Let's be honest. Everyone in crypto dreams of the same thing. To find that one move, that one strategy, that turns an ordinary person into a millionaire. But the truth is, the path to that kind of success doesn't look like what most people imagine. It's not about guessing the next meme coin or gambling on hype. It's about understanding a pattern, a mindset, and a series of decisions that quietly repeat every single cycle. When you really study how ordinary people became millionaires in crypto, you start to notice something strange. It's not luck, it's timing, patience, and belief that most people simply don't have. And that's what separates those who make it from those who don't. The crypto market has made more self-made millionaires in a single decade than any other financial movement in modern history. From people who started with a few $100s to those who built life-changing portfolios over time. But how? What did they know that others missed? It starts with something very simple. They understood the power of accumulation. While most people wait for a bull market to start buying, the ones who get rich are quietly accumulating during fear. They're not trying to time the perfect bottom. They're building positions when everyone else is leaving the market. Think about it. Every major crypto success story begins with buying when nobody else wants to. In 2019, when the market was silent, Bitcoin was under $4,000. People were calling it dead. But those who accumulated then didn't need to be perfect traders. They just needed patience. By 2021, that same Bitcoin was worth over $60,000. It's not just about Bitcoin either. Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, even projects like Chainlink or Avalanche, they all had moments where they were forgotten, only to later multiply in value. And the people who held through those quiet years? They became the stories everyone else talks about later. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. Ordinary people become millionaires not by reacting to the market, but by preparing before it moves. They understand something most investors ignore. The wealth is built in the bear market, but it's revealed in the bull. That's why you'll often hear long-term investors talk about conviction. Because conviction is what keeps you holding when prices drop. It's what stops you from panic selling when headlines scream that crypto is over. Conviction is what allows ordinary people to build extraordinary results over time. Let's break this down into real, human psychology. Most people chase dopamine. They want quick wins. They want the next moonshot. That's why they fall for every trending coin, every viral tweet, every YouTube title that says, "This coin will 100 times tomorrow." But the truth is, crypto millionaires are built differently. They operate with a delayed gratification mindset. They accumulate quality assets. They understand market cycles. And they let compounding do the work. It's the same logic Warren Buffett used in traditional markets. He said, "The stock market transfers money from the impatient to the patient." The same applies here, except faster and more extreme. Crypto is like the stock market with rocket fuel. The cycles are shorter, the volatility is higher, but the principle is the same. Let's take an example. Imagine someone investing just $100 per month in Bitcoin from 2018 to 2020. That's a total of around $3,600. By late 2021, that portfolio was worth over $20,000. That's not trading. That's accumulation and patience. And that's the secret few talk about. You don't need a huge amount of money to build wealth. You need consistency, time, and courage when others are afraid. Another layer of this is diversification. The smartest ordinary investors didn't bet everything on one coin. They built what you could call a core and explore strategy. Core means your main positions, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other top projects with long-term utility. Explore means small bets on potential high-growth altcoins. This strategy allows you to benefit from both stability and potential upside. It's how ordinary investors manage risk while staying open to big opportunities. But here's something even deeper. Every crypto millionaire went through emotional pain. They watched their portfolios drop by 50, 60, sometimes even 90%. And yet, they didn't quit. They didn't sell in panic. They saw the crash as a phase, not a failure. That's a mindset shift. Instead of asking, "When will this end?" they asked, "What can I learn from this cycle?" Every bear market teaches discipline. Every bull market rewards patience. Let's talk about conviction in projects. When ordinary people turned small amounts into millions, it wasn't random. They chose projects they understood. For example, early Ethereum holders didn't just see it as another token. They believed in the vision of decentralized applications, smart contracts, and a new internet architecture. The same with Solana believers who saw potential in fast, scalable blockchain infrastructure. That's how conviction is built, through understanding. Because when you understand what you're investing in, you stop reacting to short-term noise. Now, here's the part that's often hidden from view. Most of the millionaires you see online didn't get rich trading every day. They didn't sit in front of charts all night. They used automation, staking, yield farming, and simple dollar-cost averaging. They made their portfolios work even while they slept, staking Ethereum, holding stablecoins in yield vaults, or participating in token airdrops, all small actions that multiplied over time. These are what I call quiet wealth strategies. Not flashy, not dramatic, but extremely powerful. And here's where things get interesting. When you look back at previous bull runs, you realize every cycle creates a new opportunity. 2013 was Bitcoin. 2017 was Ethereum and ICOs. 2021 was DeFi and NFTs. The next wave could be tokenized real-world assets, AI-linked crypto, or Layer 2 scalability networks. The millionaires of tomorrow are quietly positioning themselves in those sectors today. They're not waiting for confirmation. They're studying narratives early, building conviction, and accumulating before the crowd arrives. It's not about predicting perfectly. It's about preparing intelligently. Now, let's talk about something deeper: the psychology of long-term belief. Crypto challenges everything traditional finance taught us. It rewards independent thinkers. It rewards people who are willing to look foolish temporarily for being right eventually. Ordinary people who became crypto millionaires didn't follow the herd. They questioned it. They didn't chase hype. They studied utility. That's how early believers in Bitcoin held when it was just worth a few dollars. That's how early Ethereum users saw potential when others called it useless. Because here's the truth. Every major innovation looks like a bad idea at first, until it isn't. So, how do you apply all of this today, right now, without guessing the future? Start with 3 rules. First, learn to separate noise from signal. Crypto media will always be filled with hype, predictions, and panic. Your job is to stay focused on fundamentals, technology, adoption, and utility. Second, build a long-term plan. Decide how much you can invest monthly and automate it. That removes emotion from your decisions. Third, train your mind for volatility. Understand that dips aren't disasters. They're opportunities. If you believe in the long-term story of crypto, then every crash is a temporary discount. That's how ordinary people quietly become millionaires, while everyone else is distracted by short-term noise. Now, let's go even further. We're entering a new chapter of crypto, the era of integration with real-world finance. Institutional players like BlackRock, Fidelity, and major banks are tokenizing real-world assets. That means stocks, bonds, and real estate will eventually exist on blockchain rails. And that changes everything. Because it opens the door for massive adoption. It bridges traditional money with decentralized systems. And when that happens, early believers, ordinary individuals who built positions before that wave, will once again find themselves ahead of the crowd. It's the same story repeating in a new form. Just like early internet adopters, early social media creators, or early smartphone investors, crypto rewards those who act before it's obvious. And here's something most people don't realize. You don't have to be a tech genius to take part. You just need awareness, discipline, and courage. It's not about predicting the next big thing perfectly. It's about being early enough and consistent enough to let the trend work in your favor. So when people say, ordinary people can't make it anymore in crypto, that's simply not true. The opportunity never disappeared. It just shifted. It moved from hype to knowledge, from luck to discipline. The next generation of crypto millionaires won't come from guessing coins. They'll come from those who understand narratives, accumulate strategically, and let time do the heavy lifting. Because in crypto, time is the ultimate multiplier. Now, let's bring this full circle. The average person sees crypto as risky. The ordinary person who becomes a millionaire sees it as misunderstood. They don't see volatility as chaos. They see it as rhythm. They understand that every crash plants the seeds of the next rally. They use fear as a signal to buy, and euphoria as a signal to pause. They don't look for shortcuts. They build systems, automating buys, staking for yield, and educating themselves along the way. That's how financial independence is built. Not overnight, but over cycles. So if you're watching this right now, remember, you don't need to be born rich, you don't need perfect timing, and you don't need $1 million starting point. You just need awareness, conviction, and patience. Because every ordinary millionaire started with one small decision: to take crypto seriously before everyone else did. And that's your edge right now. This market doesn't reward the smartest, it rewards the most consistent. And if you can combine consistency with education, you're already ahead of 90% of people who treat crypto like a casino. Crypto isn't just about money. It's about understanding change before the world catches up. And the ordinary people who see that, who truly understand that, are the ones who turn a few $100s into freedom, into independence, into legacy. Because in the end, becoming a crypto millionaire isn't about luck. It's about alignment, aligning your mindset, your strategy, and your patience with the cycles of innovation. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary in crypto. This is CryptoLytix, and this is your reminder that wealth doesn't just happen, it's built. One decision, one belief, one cycle at a time.